Reddit, relationship advice. I, 25 female, started jujitsu in January. I train with mostly guys, and it's okay if they touch my boobs, if the technique requires it. Boyfriend, 27 male, has put an ultimatum that this must stop. I have wanted to do MMA for a really long time, but the closest we had in my area is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I really loved it. After starting in January, I do go to the women's only class on Tuesdays, but almost every other class is me and 6 to 15 guys. When I first started, I could tell the guys were being very tentative with me, and while they were obviously being respectful of my body, I wasn't getting the same training as they were, because they were afraid to touch my boobs. To be very frank, there are some moves that just require a hard press on someone's chest to apply the technique, and I was frustrated that I was paying the same money and working just as hard, but not getting the same outcome. I started slowly, but I was very upfront with all my training partners that if the move required them to grab or press my chest, then please do it. Most are cool with it and understood, some still don't. I understand why they are nervous, but I don't want to lose any of the progress I've made with them. Last night my boyfriend of 1 year came to watch me train. We were practicing a mount into an arm bar, and for it to be done correctly, you need to press hard into someone's chest as you bring legs up and over to apply the arm bar. My partner was a guy, and while I know he didn't do it on purpose, he grabbed 2 handfuls of tits. My boyfriend asked me to come off the mat and asked me what that was all about. I asked him what he was talking about. He said I was stupid if I didn't know. I told him I don't want anyone calling me stupid at my practice. He left in a huff and walked home. When I was done, I called him and asked what the hell that was all about. He said, "That guy just grabbed me and I didn't care." I went through the whole explanation I did above, and he said that he can't believe I've been allowing men to grab me since January and he didn't know anything about it. I told him again it was for the training. He said I was so naive if I believed that. I told him I'd already explained that they weren't being pervs, but the exactly opposite was true. They were so afraid of being pervs I wasn't getting the full experience. He said he was disgusted I had so little self-respect. I asked him what that meant. He said I had one class to tell those guys not to touch me or we were done. I told him to get lost and he hung up on me. He texted me after to seriously consider what was at stake. I haven't responded. What should I do here? Sounds like your partner has put up a firm boundary that you have to decide whether to live within or not. I'd only point out you seemed to understand the issue, but didn't prepare your partner for what he would see when watching you practice. In his position, even if I could accept the touching/grabbing, I'd be disappointed to walk in cold and watch it happening unprepared. Maybe you have an opportunity to apologize for not prepping him while maintaining your own boundaries of wanting to participate in MMA badly. So he might not have gotten the easiest introduction to the reality of MMA training, yet here we are just the same. Great advice. He has made his boundaries clear and has also made it clear that the relationship continuing is dependent on his boundaries being respected. It's an ultimatum. Probably would have been a good thing to have brought this up earlier or warned him before practice. If the guys in the class were uncomfortable with touching your breasts, what makes you think your BF would be comfortable with other guys touching your breasts? I also do BJJ. Maybe try watching some videos online with him or encourage him to read more about the sport. In my experience, the men are extremely respectful and do their best to not even accidentally touch inappropriately. Maybe apologize only for not warning him about the full contact nature of the activity and ask that he try to be open-minded before he makes ultimatums. Maybe say he could come to several of the practices including the women's practice so that he could see it as kind of a hazard of the sport. Could he try a trial session so he could see what it's like to fight someone in this manner? He might see after a trial that, although you feel awkward at where your body is positioned, and sometimes where you grab or touch, it is not the least bit sexual in nature. I mean, you are literally fighting the person. Lol. Luckily for me, my BF does BJJ with me, so we do not have this issue. In fact, the only person who I felt has touched me in a sexual manner during a fight is when I roll with my BF. He likes to have fun with me and will occasionally grab my chest on purpose while we are rolling. Lol. Good luck OP. I'm going to get a lot of downvotes from this, but most of those who comment here have never practiced martial arts like JJ. This is said by someone who has practiced 3 martial arts for the last 30 years. Your boyfriend is not manipulative, insecure, or crazy. Not that much at least. He is ignorant. Like your boyfriend, apparently there are many ignorant in here. I bet you neither your teacher nor your fellow practitioners would take your boyfriend's initial reaction so tremendously. He lacks knowledge. He doesn't practice martial arts. He doesn't know your teacher. He doesn't know your fellow practitioners. The best remedy against ignorance is knowledge. I know that it is your space in an activity that you love, and that it is not a couple activity, but temporarily. That he goes to your classes more often, so that he knows your classmates and teacher. The most important thing is that he learn the nature of the martial art you practice. Do you have friends or best female friends who practice BJJ or similar? They can clarify many things for you. Sometimes a third party's point of view helps. By the way, both hands on breast? It is not at all in BJJ or JJ or MMA anything common. In 30 years I have never seen it. Very bad luck that he was just there as a boyfriend to see that. I train BJJ as well. Female here, and totally get it. It's a full contact sport. I can't count the amount of times I've accidentally grabbed a handful of a guy's balls trying to control his hips and pass his guard. Usually the guys are super apologetic about touching different parts of my body, and I always have to let them know that it's okay and that I need them to do the technique and move correctly. My BF is my BJJ instructor, so I don't have this issue thankfully, but maybe it'll be helpful to get him to try a class or two so that he can see that a lot of the touches and positions are not sexual at all, and that accidental touches happen because, again, it's legit a full contact sport. Otherwise, he'll just have to accept that it's the nature of the sport and it requires full body contact. With it being a male dominant sport, we have to be comfortable training with men. If he can't accept it, I've seen this become an issue down the line and the couple ultimately ends up breaking up. But don't give up something that makes you feel good and you are passionate about. Please don't stop training. Either he works through his insecurities and continues educating himself on the sport, or there's not much you can do. He has a point, just delivered in a very poor way. You should have told him that the martial art comes with stuff like that. Imagine being there and out of nowhere there's a guy with his hand on your girlfriend's boobs. Everyone is quick to say who he's insecure, but lol, he didn't even have a warning. Is he just supposed to take it in stride?